Welcome to the mandatory performance talk of every Frappe Build conference. I mean, is it really a build conference without someone talking about it? So in December last year, I refactored the mark attendance job that you see in the shift types because one of our customers complained that it took too long. Like the job would fail with the timeout error or sometimes with a DB lock error. And at the time, I did not know what I know about performance or even the tooling now. So I did what I knew at the time, which was instead of processing all the check-ins, however employee check-ins are present in the single request, I refactored the function to use a background worker instead. But then, like as you'll see with the rest of the talk, as to like I could have done much better. Like this is still a good change, but there could be so much that could have gone to make this function even faster than it is. And in order to show you what that's like, I'll start with a very simple demo example. So I have a script here, pretty simple. There's a function called compute. It takes a number, it calculates the factorial of that number, and it returns that number. And then I want to know the number of digits of this final number. So I convert it to a string, and then I count the length of the string. That should give me the number of digits. And then I'll run this program with like for 2 lakhs, which is like a fairly large number. And then I'll run this with a cProfiler. This is the kind of profiler that you see in the framework, the one that warns you for an overhead. We'll see what that is shortly. But then when I run this, it takes a fair amount of time, as you can guess. But then any guesses as to which of these functions could be the culprit of this large amount of time? Any guesses? Anybody who thinks count of digits? Anybody who thinks computes? Anybody? Okay. Cool. People who think it's count of digits, congratulations, because that is what it is. So this is an entire list of functions that was called. The count digits takes 8 seconds as compared to compute, which is like 0.6. It's not even close. And if people who thought, like me, that it's going to be compute when you didn't know about this, it's not always the stuff that you intuitively think. And this is even still a simpler function. Like imagine you have hundreds of lines of codes across different files, across hundreds of different functions. How do you even come up with an intuition of what part of your code is or app is actually slow? So it's important that you visualize where your code is spending time, which is what profiling is. It's essentially measuring where your program spends its resources. This could be the time it took to execute. This could be the memory that your program uses. This could be the CPU cycle that your program is consuming while it's running. So Python has 2 types of profilers. The cProfiler that I used is called a tracing profiler. This is the same profiler that the framework comes with. Framework also has a profile in it, but then we don't really use it. You'll find the profile module used somewhere if you search for it. Tracing profilers are in-process profilers. They run within the same process, and so they modified the code that's being executed with the CPU. So cProfilers, you record the start and end time of every function call. So every single function time you have during your execution, there is a little bit of code that's executed at the beginning of the function and a little bit of code executed at the end of the function of every function to record the time, the call stack, the variables, the name of the functions, all those things. So if you go from left to right and count the enter and exit blocks of that come in the way, that is the extra code that's being executed, and that's the overhead that's added with the cProfiler. So it's not really a good idea to use these kinds of profilers in your live production environment. They'll just slow everything down for everyone else. The other kind of profilers are sampling profilers. The examples are PySpy, the one that we'll see shortly. There is other called PyInstrument. These processors attach to the live process of your app, the program that you're executing. And the way these processors work, sampler profilers work, is they take a snapshot of the call stack that your code has during its execution. And so there is like a stop signal, but then it's not strong. It's not big enough for it to count towards anything. And then this certain frequency, you can specify the frequency. The default is usually 10 milliseconds, which is good enough for most of the performance bottlenecks that you want to find. So this is what it looks like. From 0 to 20 milliseconds, you'll see the call stack at a certain time. And then when you track your call stack this way, you get this picture of what the call stack would be like. And these can be used in production as your app is running without doing anything else, provided you have the root privileges to actually spawn another process to spy on another process. So because tracing profilers track start and end time of every single function call, they usually are very, very precise. And so because of their precision, they're also called as deterministic profilers. The sampling profilers, because they take a snapshot, and then if between two snapshots, if the function is found at first snapshot and is not found at second snapshot, it's just assumed that the function takes less than 10 milliseconds. Well, it could take 10 milliseconds, could take 5 milliseconds, but then you're not sure how much time. So the precision is lost, but the overall picture that it gives is still useful. Because of this, because of the estimation that it makes, they're also called statistical profilers. And so cProfiler's output is the table that we saw earlier, but you can use tools like SnakeWiz, which lets you extract that tabular data and have the output visualized in this graph called Icicle. You can check out the other graphs also. And these are interactive, so you can check the call stack, the time taken, the table that the original cProfiler shows. PySpy actually gives you a visualized results like this. And this is called a flame graph. Yes, the flames are upside down. And the colors don't really mean anything, it's just a theme. But then you'll see that the run is the top level function, and then execute, and then debug application, and then call in 3 different files, all the way down to, these also are interactive, so you can go and check the call stack. So the way you interpret this is, A is your base function. A calls B when the execution starts. B calls C, and then when C is finished executing, B calls D, then D calls E, and then once the execution finishes, then A calls F. So here, B is doing sort of his job, but then the things you want to notice is F is not really calling anybody else, but it still seems to take a lot of time. And so you may want to inspect these kind of functions of what it is that they're doing. If they're not calling other functions, what are the things inside them that are taking so much time? And we'll see an example of this pretty shortly. OK. So coming back to the previous mark attendance function, knowing this, I profiled the same bulk attendance job with a PySpy profiler. And then the way you do that is you can take, when you run bench serve, you'll get process IDs of your web worker, right? And this is what you need, because you need the precise child process to attach to the profiler. It will be shown somewhere. OK, let's see. I'm going to execute when start again. And then, yeah, this is the process ID you need. But then even this is not enough, because if you actually go and look at the implementation of this actually spawns one more child process, and then that spawns another child thread. So you can do something like this, which is the PST command in most Linux-based operating systems, and you can figure out the child process thread that you want to examine. This is the one that's actually executing the function that it's causing your app to be slow, and then you use this to then sample your code with PySpy. And once you do that, you get a result like this. This is interactive. And then you can notice, so this is the mark attendance. This is process function, which calls mark attendance and link logs, which calls wrapper, which calls submit, which calls save, which calls insert, and then it calls run post save methods. And then notice that the notify update takes a fair bit of time. It seems to spend yeah, about 137,000 samples it showed up on the call stack, which is significant. And it's not really doing anything except sending signals, real-time signals to your WebSocket, and then waiting for them. So, like, in a process that essentially should be a background thing, like marking attendance, especially when you're marking attendance for thousands of employees, you probably don't really need to know the updates of every single document. You can just remove this. And so when I did that, we had the initial time was 1 minute, 7 seconds, if you can see on the screen. And after that, the total time was 48 seconds. And then the flame graph goes from looking like that to looking like this. And then this was done with a single line of code in employee check-in, which was just set the flag. Okay, let's get rid of this. Yeah, set the notify update flag to false. With like one line of code, you save about 15, 20 seconds. And again, this is 2,000 employees attendance for about 4 or 5 days. If you have even more, this will save even more time. And then this is just the start. Then the process is examining more of these call stacks, what is taking time, going and fixing them one by one. Yeah, that's how you see the profile picture of your code before trying to make any performance gains, because they won't really be helpful if you don't have that picture to see in the first place. Any questions? So I wanted to look at where is the code spending its time, and this comes down to if you have a production environment, you shouldn't use cProfiler at all. Just stick to something like a sampling profiler that you can use in the production environment as well. And then if you want to be very precise about your timing of each function call, so the ideal way would be you use the sampling function at the start just to look at if there are any huge, those rectangular bars that are just blocking everything. And then once those are out, and then you have individual functions, then you go and use something like cProfiler to be very precise about how much of that each of those little things take time.